So, you know how every family has that one person who's a little extra, the one who thinks they're the master of pranks? Yeah. Well, in my family, that was my older sister, Lillian. And for a long time, I just thought that was her entire personality. Salt in my orange juice? Classic Lillian. Shaving cream in the hand? Yep, that was her too. Annoying, sure, but I thought it was just normal sister stuff. Then my cousin Patricia came to stay for the summer, and that's when things went from annoying to straight-up evil genius level. Today, I'm telling you the story of the most messed up prank anyone has ever pulled on me. A prank that didn't just hurt my feelings, it broke me. And it all started with some missing baby pictures. The clue in the family album. I was 12 years old, and honestly, a little bored. So I did what any kid with a lot of time on their hands does. I went digging through old family albums. My parents were photo crazy. There were albums dedicated to my sister, Lillian, from the moment she was born. First smile, first bath, first time she ate solid food. All of it was meticulously documented. But as I flipped through my own baby photos, I started to notice something strange. There were no pictures of me before I was about 18 months old. It was like I just appeared. I had a few photos from when I was a toddler and then the albums were full. But those first 2 years, it was a complete blank. I showed Lillian and asked her about it. And her face, it changed. She got this weird, almost secretive look. She said, "Oh, you don't know?" And then, like a villain in a movie, she called my cousin Patricia into the room. They sat me down, and the air in the room got heavy. Lillian, looking me dead in the eyes, said, "Mom and Dad were going to wait until you were older to tell you this." My heart started to pound in my chest. I knew, logically, this had to be a prank, but the way they were acting was different. This wasn't their usual gotcha energy, and that's when they dropped the bomb. I was adopted. The evidence and the story. At first I laughed. I mean, it was so ridiculous, right? This was just another one of their ridiculous pranks. But then Patricia pulled out a folder she had made. Inside, it looked like there were official documents. They had taken real papers from my parents' home office and photoshopped them. There was a fake birth certificate with a different woman's name. My heart started pounding even harder. I still didn't fully believe them, but the fear was starting to creep in. This was so much more than putting shaving cream on a doorknob. Then Lillian showed me pictures of my mom from when she was supposedly pregnant with me, but as I looked at the dates and my mom's stomach, it didn't add up. They had done their research. They had put in the work to make this feel real. And then came the cruelest part. They had a whole story about how my real mom was a teenager who couldn't keep me. And they used something I was already insecure about to prove it. "That's why you look different from everyone in the family," Lillian said, her voice sounding so serious. "Everyone else has blue eyes, and you have brown." That was a sore spot for me. I had always been the odd one out, and in that moment, all of my insecurities came rushing to the surface. It suddenly made sense. All the times I felt like I was treated differently, all the jokes about my eyes, they weren't jokes. They were clues. I completely broke down. I started hyperventilating, crying uncontrollably. I ran and locked myself in the bathroom for hours. I remember staring at my reflection in the mirror, searching for any resemblance to my parents. I was having a full-on identity crisis at 12 years old. Who was I? Was my entire life a lie? I thought about all the things Lillian had said. Mom and Dad favor Lillian. And honestly, in that moment, it felt true. It felt like the perfect explanation for everything that had ever felt unfair. The aftermath and the damage. My parents came home and found me still crying in the bathroom. They were confused at first, but when they finally figured out what had happened, they were furious. I had never seen my dad that angry. My mom was crying too, seeing how hurt I was. They grounded Lillian for the entire summer. And Patricia? My parents called her parents and sent her home the very next day. but the damage was done. For weeks, I questioned everything. I would ask my mom these heartbreaking questions. Did you pick me because you felt sorry for me? Do you wish you had a real daughter instead? My mom, a kind and loving woman, was devastated. She tried to reassure me, but a 12-year-old's mind, once a seed of doubt is planted, it grows into a forest of fear. The emotional toll was so bad that my mom eventually took me to a therapist. I was having nightmares and serious trust issues. I couldn't look at Lillian or Patricia the same way. The therapist helped me work through a lot of it, but honestly, what helped more was when my mom finally found what I was looking for in the first place. She had dug out a bunch of my missing baby pictures. It turned out that when I was a baby, a huge box of our family photos had been accidentally mixed up with some old paperwork. My parents had put all the baby pictures in a separate box, and that's where my early baby photos were. Lillian and Patricia, in their evil genius plotting, had found that box and hid it. They knew exactly what they were doing. They created a hole in my memories to fill with a lie. I showed my mom the pictures that Lillian and Patricia had used. She was livid. She told me that the pictures of her pregnant were just bad angles and the documents were clearly fake. But to a 12-year-old, when you're already feeling insecure, it's all too easy to believe. The takeaway that prank was so much more than just a joke. It was a complete violation of my trust and my identity. I've always wondered what was going through their minds. Did they not think about the emotional consequences? Or did they just not care? It taught me a lot about trust and how fragile it can be, and it definitely changed my relationship with Lillian and Patricia forever. We eventually patched things up, but a part of me always wondered what they were capable of. The joke stopped, but the memory of that day still hurts. So, the next time someone tells you a prank is just a joke, remember this story. Because sometimes a prank is just cruelty disguised as humor, and the damage it leaves behind is anything but funny.